gameranx presents another episode of Before You Buy, the show where we give you some straight-up gameplay and some of my thoughts on the latest games releasing. And today we're talking about Tekken 7. It definitely seems like it's shaping up to be a summer of fighting games, and it looks like we got another good one. Tekken 7 definitely feels different from other fighters on the market right now, but not just the gameplay, like, we'll get to that, but I'm talking about the full content package here. It's part nostalgia, part pure arcade gameplay. If you haven't played Tekken, it may not be exactly what you expect, but it's good. Tekken 7 has been around in arcade and Japanese versions for a while now. The gameplay here is fine-tuned and definitely perfected. It stands out well enough from the likes of Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, etc. But for the uninitiated here, the combos and attacks are all based around each button corresponding to left and right body parts. Blocking is extremely important, but all the hits and punches give Tekken a real strong, workman-like feel. You know, every punch and hit is a big deal. It's all about the thrill of the dodge or a good grapple parry and a nasty, devastating combo. Matches can honestly end pretty quickly, but they require an immense amount of skill and precision, knowledge and strategy, and sometimes just a good juggle. It's still very much so a tried and true 3D fighter that feels particularly arcadey. If you are a fan, you're going to be able to pick up this game and get the similar feel pretty quickly. The rage art system here, though, is really the new bag. Mastering the rage art, rage drives, and power crushes allow more of a push-pull and kind of give-and-take feel to battle, allowing you to pull off, like cool cinematic moves or activate and power yourself through deadly incoming attacks. The ability to resist getting staggered by a hit is pretty important, and it's really a game changer here. The whole rage art and rage drive system really adds a whole nother layer of difficulty and often makes the matches feel way faster, but it still all feels way old school compared to other fighting games, but it's still just right. There's something about Tekken gameplay that just works. And the King of Iron Fist tournament, of course, returns in a pretty fleshed out story mode. I think it's a welcome addition here. You play as various characters throughout the Tekken universe, very often centering around the fan favorite Heihachi. He once again assumes control of Mishima Zaibatsu in an attempt to end the big Mishima clan family feud drama and the whole war surrounding it once and for all. It's a bit of a dark chapter and does really aim to answer a lot of questions about the stuff going on between Heihachi, Jin, and Kazuya. And it does a good job in fleshing out some moments in between throughout the saga. If you're into the lore, there's gonna be a lot to chew on here. Of course, it's all absolutely ridiculous and often a bit hard to follow if you're not a fan, but there's moments of extremely awesome stuff, some overly serious stuff, and some hilarious stuff. It's absolutely worth playing through for a few hours for some cool moments. Not only can you follow the main path, but you can also jump around and play with side characters in single side missions for a little extra. There's a lot of good moments here and a lot of fan-pleasing stuff. The intro fight tutorial is really cool, and then the final boss battle is intensely hard, oh my god. But it's worth it if you want to see what they're calling the conclusion of the whole 20-year game series spanning Mishima Saga. There are some graphic image moving art sequences with a lame narrator that totally kills things sometimes, but otherwise here you have lengthy cutscenes that are satisfying with a bunch of over-the-top superheroes, punctuated by good fight scenes with a little QTE action here and there. Plus, Akuma from Street Fighter is in the game canonically. They write him in surprisingly well, and his fighting style meshes Tekken and Street Fighter moves pretty perfectly. It's really impressive. There's also a little bit of accessibility for those that suck. You can play through with an easy mode that allows you to pull off combos easier if you really want to just see the story. It still doesn't make the game a complete cakewalk, but it is good for newbies. Along with that, though, there's of course classic arcade mode, which is pretty much what you'd expect, as well as treasure matches, which allow you to earn in-game currency called fight money to unlock weird, goofy things to customize your characters with. It's all really bizarre stuff, like pizza and silly hats, but it's cool, and you can also customize your fight health bar for online play, which leads me to that. Online mode definitely seems all well and good here, just pretty simple. There's ranked and unranked matches, so prepare to get your ass kicked. We'll see how online holds up, though, in the long run. Thankfully, though, like many fighting games and previous Tekkens, there's an extremely robust practice mode with tons of options so you can get your shit together. Tekken is one part instinct and one part thinking and strategy, and the game giving you the tools to get better is always appreciated, at least for me. Interestingly enough, though, the game barely runs at 1080p for some reason on PS4, but it does keep a steady 60 frames per second. We also played a lot on the PC version, which on our machines runs very nicely. As of right now, it seems like a decent PC port. You get a nice bunch of maps with a little bit of interactivity that look pretty nice, but you also get a bunch of characters and variants. It's always really good to see the favorite characters here. They're mostly all well represented, but I didn't find myself very attached to the newcomer characters, except Shahim. Shahim's awesome. There are also tons of extras for Tekken fans. I mentioned nostalgia early on for a reason. You can unlock old Tekken music to play during matches, you can watch old endgame cutscenes and stuff, and it totally took me back to long days and nights of Tekken 3 and Tekken Tag. All in all, though, I'd say Tekken 7 is a really good package. It's not as chock full of stuff and content as something like Injustice, and it doesn't totally change the flow of combat up as much as other new fighting games try to do, but if you love Tekken, this is it, man. I'm not a competitive fighting game player or anything, but what we have here is fine-tuned, it's fun, and not only does it play well and is a total blast, but it also has a lot of good fan-pleasing moments. I think there's a lot to like with Tekken 7, and I can definitely recommend it if you are a fighting game fan or even an arcade fan. But that's how a Before You Buy works. You know, I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion thrown in there, but now I definitely want to hear yours down in the comments. Let's talk about Tekken 7, from your favorite character to your favorite map to just what you feel about the story mode, because there's sure a hell of a lot going on and a lot to unpack, but I want to know what you think if you've been following the whole saga of the clan from the very beginning. From your favorite characters to your favorite tactics, let's talk about Tekken 7 down in the comments. I'll be down there with you guys, talking to you, answering any questions you have. But you guys know the deal. Thanks so much for coming around. Clicking the like button helps me out a ton and lets us do more Before You Buys. But if you're new for some reason, you should subscribe, because we put out stuff like this all the time. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.